Hi everyone, Rob here from Way Out West, president of the club. This coming Sunday we have Kevin Borich in the house. The show starts at 2 o'clock and you're able to get tickets via our website or at the door. I'm really lucky today that I get to talk to Kevin and we talk about the great new album he's got out. Well, actually it's a triple album called Legacy. So sit back and enjoy the words of wisdom from Mr. Kevin Borich.
Well, for me it was, but I didn't know that Mum used to say that Dad used to play the tamburica because they were from Dalmatia, which is the coast of Croatia. But Dad never had one. I think because the migrants were so poor, they put 10 shillings down, borrowed from an uncle as a deposit on 20 acres, 10 shillings. And so they were so busy working, there was no time for, and we're lucky to do it, Rob, because we just did it before the COVID thing hit. So yeah, I got to see actually where Melissa, my wife, did the sort of rent what we have to give them a place to stay on, and she must have been guided because when we walked down the road from it, there was a monument of a soldier with a machine gun and his compadre, sort of wounded soldier. And he was looking out this way, and on all the names of the fallen, there was Borich and there was Letica, which is my mum's maiden's name. So she picked the right spot, and when we walked, yeah, that was didn't last long because it was such a murky, merging sort of sounding thing. And then so we decided, that we had to change the name, and the bass player, Mrs. Wilson, Trevor's mum, we were sitting around listening to each other's ideas of what we should be called. They were all tough names like the Criminals, this and that, and she piped up going, "I don't want my son of mine in a band called Criminals. Why don't you call yourself something nice like the La-Di-Da's?" First one was a real neat riff, like and it was fuzz. This guy made a fuzz box for me, and we copied it from Blues Magoos, and that got to number one. Bruce sang that, the keyboard player, Bruce Howard, and it got to number one. We did some originals that they didn't want to know about, and then we thought we'll do Hey Baby, and copied something in Bruce Chanel, I think his name was, and it was such a sing-along song that it got to number one as well. Well, I was lucky that Mum and Dad could see me strumming the tennis racket and didn't give me balls. They gave me a guitar, so that was good. And then they bought a 3-in-1 bell unit, which was amazing for the time. Turntable, radio, pull out tape recorder. So I was taping the BBC, and where BBC would put out live concerts in their BBC studios that had bands go in there. So I was the hot guy recording all this stuff that no one else was hearing until much later. So the La-Di-Da's were, groundbreaking because of that. Yeah. Well, this guy approached me and told me about the concept, and I thought, fantastic. That sounds good. I could still do my band, but this will be great as long as I'm on the same money as you, and I'm always in the band because I'm going to dedicate my time to it. So I'll try and promote it and do that. And long story short, we had all the good things happen until the time when Eric Burton was going to come out. And I thought, wow, Eric Burton, he knew Jimi Hendrix, they hung out, this would be great. But I was told then, Kev, you're going to be on a wage from now on. And I went, well, we played twice. The first time it was the 5-piece band. That must have been obviously an earlier one, but I can't remember what year. And then the next one I do remember pretty well because it was the 3-piece La-Di-Da's with Rock and Roll Sandwich, because behind the photo you can see the cover of the album, with the lovely lady with the tongue hanging out and dripping. It was really quite something you wouldn't be able to do now, Rob. Against the law. You know, it'd be against the law. You'd be offending. And you wouldn't, you know, there's no sense of humour. I don't know what's wrong with what's going on. But anyway, we played, and that's just before Deep Purple played, so that was good. Yeah, they're great, really great. And he was pulling the pots and pans out when he was about 3 years old, and I think we got into the drum kit really early. He wouldn't have been 3 and a bit. And so, yeah, he was very dedicated, and you know, it was obviously the drums chose him, and he was so dedicated. And you know, I had to soundproof the shed out the back of Bondi, otherwise people were throwing stuff at us if it was making too much noise. Maybe.
One thing I love watching you, Kev, after the gig, you're so involved with the punters. You take so much time to, you know, have a chat and put your arm around them. Is that really important to you, connecting with the punters?
Yeah, it is, because I mean, I wouldn't be without them, you know, I'd be the fool on the hood with a chainsaw and a tractor. Yeah. That's what I've got. But I wouldn't be touring. I wouldn't be enjoying playing music to people. And now they're the people, and you know, that's why people like yourself and radio, you know, community radio especially, are so wonderful, because the commercial stations don't want to know about that. They get all the music sent down through the corporation tubes from, you know, up in the pyramid. It all comes down, but there's no one near DJs. They're more like shock jocks now. But the community radio, the people who have passion, and they've got a written song or someone they want people to hear. And in the old days, the commercial stations were like that. The people, the DJs that had passion, they had musical tastes, and they were trying to make a hit out of something that they loved. And that doesn't happen no more, except at community level. Oh. Yeah, I got a great Queensland band, John Carson on drums, yeah, and Chris Gilbert on bass. They're both from musical families, great musicians, great singers. We even the new release we've got called Legacy. Did you get a copy of that?
Yeah, I bought a copy of that, mate. It's fantastic.
How about the couple of songs where it sounds like Kev was trying to get a hit record?
Yeah.
You know, one called One More Dream. Well, they've got voices that can sing all the stuff that I put on that. Yeah, that's the one. The Legacy album, we've got a duets album that's almost finished, and we actually released one song, but with Russell called Call a Friend. It's great. But a guy who knows the business said, you should get your profile up first and release a Legacy album, because you're old enough, you've been around, and that'll you know, we're talking about it now, see it's working, and get a word out, and people go, oh, he's not dead yet, he's still out there doing it. So yeah, that's why. And the concept of the of the way it's structured with, you know, it's kind of done by mood, you know, like the hot one is kind of like rock, and you party, you put that on, it's all go. The next one's chill, if you want to lay back a bit. There's songs like that way. It's a lot of funk at the end, and it gets a bit going at the end. And then the third one is live recordings, choice live recordings. Yeah, I've been working on that for a while, you know, off and on, and then off and on, and off and on, and then it's coming to its end. So I'm just doing the final read through again to you know, dot the I's and whatever, do that sort of thing. And so that'll be sort of, I don't know, 2024 maybe release.
Did you
Yeah, complete shock. I got grabbed by the arm and placed out there, and they put a Carlos guitar on me, and said, he looked around and said, go for it. And so, you know, it was a wonderful moment, really. I mean, the crowd went nuts when they could see he was acknowledging the local Australian dude, and off we went. So, and he was so great. So I've been in the right place, right time, you know. Yeah, well, the idea is, it's real funny, Rob, when people go, you know, would you make any different decisions if you had the chance again? Well, it all comes down to the fact, which is hard for people to grasp. I mean, people my age know, but younger people, is that in those days when it was time to move, because like I used to watch Max Merritt and Meteors. I used to watch Ray Columbus and Invaders and all the Maori bands and that. But those guys went to Australia first, because that was going to Australia back then, Rob, was a huge thing. The world was a big place, huge. It's not so like that now, you know, but that's what you did back then. You went to Australia because it was a big move. Now you go to where the big population is, because, you know, that's the name of the game when in the entertainment. More people, more chance of work. You know, if you only have a minority audience, well, it's going to be bigger and a bigger population. So that would have been the difference. So I would have gone straight to America. But